Hello and welcome to episode 14 of Two Guys, Zero Planners, brought to you by Ron and the folks over at Pen Chalet. If you want great stationery at good prices with fast shipping, head on over to penchalet.com. There, you can get free shipping on orders of over $50 in the US and earn your way towards a free bottle of ink with their Ink Rewards program. So, head on over to penchalet.com, click on that radio podcast link at the top of the page, and enter Two Guys. That's the number 2, GUYS, all one word, for 10% off site-wide. And thank you to Pen Chalet for sponsoring Two Guys, Zero Planners. So, Urban, we're recording at 11:45 at night, and I'm slightly tipsy because I forgot we were recording tonight.
And you had already your time zone or your daylight savings time changed, and we haven't. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, normally we record at 10:45 at night for me, and I'm like, wait, an hour shouldn't make much of a difference. But it's amazing how much it really does.
Yeah, I'm tired for a whole week after that change normally.
Oh man, it has been a week, to say the least. The fun thing about this, though, the next 2 shows that we record are going to be while I'm in Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
Which is 2 hours. Well, that's actually going to be good for me. That means I'll be recording at 8:45 at night instead of 10:45, because Arizona doesn't do daylight savings time, so it's a 2-hour time difference.
Ah, I see.
Yes, it's going to be like I'm recording on the West Coast for a change.
Time zones are complicated.
Yeah, I will be glad when we finally realize that civilization has progressed enough that daylight savings time does not need to exist.
Yeah. Soon, I guess.
So, enough about weird things that cause clocks to do weird things to our bodies. You ended up getting a very beautiful yellow pen.
Yes, I got a Leonardo pen, the Furore, so that cigar-shaped pen. The same person that sold me his Pelican M205, the demonstrator special edition. Yeah, it was a good price. I paid 115 euros with shipping for it, and I haven't been able to put it down. It's like I'm on the 4th converter, and all other pens are sitting there and I'm just using that one.
Okay, I'm going to try to pronounce it really quick. That way I can butcher it on air. Leonardo Officina Italiana Furore. I think I added a few syllables to Officina.
I'm not Italian, but I would have said Leonardo Officina Italiana Furore.
Yeah, you still got it better than me. I'll tell you what, though, man.
We had a few Italian friends, so.
Yeah, that'll make all the difference. Man, you're falling down the rabbit hole of more expensive pens. I hate to tell you.
I know. But I mean, the price was just too good. And I like the color. So this is the yellow one. So I just couldn't pass it up.
I mean, I really do. I do like I guess they call it a cracked ice appearance. I mean, it's a really good yellow.
Yeah. I mean, it's not cracked ice. There's no chunks in there. It's just really swirly.
Really? Okay, that second picture kind of makes it, the second and third picture kind of make it look like there's some good clumps in there. I guess you could say it's more cloudy than clumpy.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, cloudy is definitely the better word for it.
Yeah, and next week I'll finally manage to meet my local pen friend with the Pelicans, so we'll see.
So which Pelicans are you going to be trying on that one?
The 800 and 1000.
I have no clue how either of those 2 pens write, because the largest Pelican pen I had was an M400 that I ended up selling to Jonathan Brooks.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I didn't sell it to him. I traded it to him for a pen.
All right.
Which, actually, yeah, we can go ahead and segue to that while we're at it. You remember when I had to sell a whole bunch of pens to pay for one of my dog's surgeries, right?
Yes, I remember.
So the Chicago Pen Show's coming up, and Mike, my host for the show Hypothetical, um, he was going to go ahead and go by Jonathan Brooks's table and pick me up a new Brooks pen to replace that one, if it could be replaced. I mean, that was a beautiful. It looks like fire. It looks like the pen is on fire. Michael was going to try to find me a replacement, and I was going to give him like $200 for it. While I was talking with Michael, he was like, okay, what does the pen look like? So I talked to the guy who I sold it to. And I'm like, hey, can you send me some pictures? The buyer was like, I just bought this to help you pay for your dog's surgery. If you want it, I'll sell it back to you for what I paid for it. And I'm like, wait, what?
Wow, cool.
So my Brooks pen is coming back, and I'll have it at like right in time for me to go to Arizona.
That's great.
You know the creepy thing about that pen? It actually hurt me more to sell the Jonathan Brooks pen than it did for me to sell my Nakaya Decopod Twist.
Yeah, because you know the person, sort of.
Yeah, I mean that pen had so much. Well, it has so much behind it. It was kind of a new acrylic that Jonathan was working with. It was kind of just a new way that he was doing translucence. And it was also one of the first times he tried that with a matte finish. At least that's what he was telling me at the table. I mean, it was one of the reasons I traded my Pelican for it. And it was also the first major pen trade that I did at the Chicago Pen Show, which started the whole buying spree that actually led to the Nakaya. When I ended up like completely just selling off my entire collection, just about, letting go of that pen actually hurt worse than having to let go of all the others. And being able to get that one back, it took me a good 45 minutes to actually send the money via PayPal, because I couldn't actually believe it was real that I was getting the chance to get that pen back into my collection.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
I mean, it even actually surpasses the Nakaya that I currently have, which is just the standard Piccolo cigar, but still. And yeah, so that was my big pen acquisition, even though I actually kind of made two others.
You're telling me I'm buying expensive pens and not only the cheap ones, right?
Yeah, I'm a hypocrite. If you haven't figured that out by now, we're on episode 14, Urban. You should know me better than this by now. I did what, 30 something episodes with BYOB, and now we've done 14 episodes together. I am a huge hypocrite.
Yeah, I mean, the Newton we talked about last time, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. We talked about it a little last time.
Yeah, that's a beautiful pen.
Now, to take a little bit behind the scenes, after last week's recording, though, I complained to you that the Newton was starting to act a little dry. And my thought was it was the feed. So what had ended up happening, and this is the drawback of living with dogs, a small piece of dog fur got into the feed. I kid you not. Somehow it got into the converter and got into the feed. And it had to be one of Karma's pieces of fur. And it took a solid 20 minutes of flushing that feed out before I finally saw this piece of fur go flying across the sink. And I'm like, wait, what?
That is amazing that it managed to get in there.
I know. And it's like, when I first got the pen, it wrote like a dream. I'm like, okay, Sean did an amazing job tuning it. And I didn't want to badmouth it on last week's episode, well, 2 weeks ago's episode, because it had to have been something I did. So I'm not going to fault the pen for that. I'm the user. It's what I did to it.
Yeah.
But I didn't think one of my dogs would go and actively sabotage my pen.
Maybe they're trying to tell you something.
Maybe. I don't know. It's the good thing, though, is the pen is writing beautifully again. So that's kind of why I put it back in the show notes. I felt guilty that I confessed to you after the show that it wasn't up to par, and there needed to be some clarification there.
Yeah. That's great that it's now working.
Oh, yeah. So, pen owners, keep an eye on your pet's fur when you're cleaning your pens. You never know when a piece of fur is going to get in there. Oh, wow.
Another pen.
Yes. Yes, this is that time of the year when I'm allowed to recklessly buy about $800 worth of fountain pens, and then I'm done until September. So I purchased a Herbert Pen Company. He made 20 pens last summer for the 2018 summer edition. I kept saying on BYOB I needed to actually get a Herbert Pen Company pen. I think I said it like 3 or 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
And I sent him a message. I'm like, how much? He's like, 175. I'm like, wait, what? He's like, yeah. And for that price, he actually took the weekend to tune it for me. I got it Wednesday. So yeah, I got it yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And I put Diatramentus petrol in it to make sure it was working good. That thing is almost as much of a fire hose as my Nakaya. Yeah, it's a broad that's almost riding like a double broad. So, Chet, seriously, if you're hearing this, you did a phenomenal job on that nib.
That's cool.
And Michael, once again, hypothetical Michael, he says I have a trend. He says the pens that I tend to buy and like the most have like black and gold in them, or some type of fire or ocean swirl to them.
So, not boring pens, basically.
Not boring pens. And I think he's right. I like having a few pens that I can take out in the workplace and they look like they belong on the desk of a CEO. The majority of the pens that I like carrying with me every day are the ones that slap you across the face, throw you across the bar, and then just like start throwing plates at you.
The yellow one isn't maybe not as crazy, but this is also going into that direction. And should I ever manage to, I'm still on Chewbacca's waiting list, and I guess I'll have to go for a somewhat crazy acrylic for the pen once it's my time.
Well, okay. I mean, the Herbert pen's not that crazy of an acrylic, but it has that whole ocean beach feel to it.
That's true.
And I think that's what Michael was getting at when he was talking about it. Because if you look at the Newton pen, it has that tiger's eye fire opal thing going on with it. And it kind of has that ocean swirl going on with it. And then you look at the Herbert one, it's got the ocean thing. And then you look at the Jonathan Brooks one that I'm buying back, which I don't have a link for you there. I'm going to have to take a new picture when it comes back in. But you take a look at that pen and it looks like a campfire. Actually, yeah, that's a good description for it. It looks like a campfire.
And I'm totally don't have a pen like that. At some point, I need to rectify that, of course.
Yes, you do. You've got something in here about your Kaweco Brass Sport.
Yes. So we some episodes ago we talked about it. I had bought the Kaweco Brass Sport, and then I had to send it back because that double broad nib was really weird. It's double broad, but only in a very high angle, so that thing had a really odd shape, and it didn't really post. So it just basically fell off. The cap fell off.
Okay. How did they end up fixing it?
Well, they sent me a new one.
Oh, okay. Well, that fixes it, I guess. Is this one actually where it needs to be?
Yeah, so the cap posts, and they asked me if I wanted another size, so I went for a broad, which writes about as broad as the Leonardo medium. they're either that it's I don't know. It's basically random, I think, them. But yeah, that actually wrote out of the box. I didn't have to do anything. Yeah, and now I just have to get the patina back on.
Okay, you mentioned you mentioned that with Kaweco, it's kind of random on the nibs. So I'm not hallucinating there. The Kaweco nibs really do feel random.
Yes.
Okay.
It's fine, medium or broad, it's basically the same. Maybe the extra fine. I have an extra fine here. Yeah, maybe that is a European fine, not a medium.
Okay, because in my short tenure back into fountain pens as an adult, I've gone through 5, maybe 6 Kawecos now. 2 fines, a medium, 2 broads, and a 1.1 stub.
Mm-hmm.
If you told me that I got 6 broads, I'd believe you. Like, they all wrote exactly, even the stub wrote like a broad. It didn't have any line variation. So,
Really?
yeah, I thought I was hallucinating. I honestly thought I was hallucinating because I made no modifications to those nibs. And I went back and looked at all my old writing samples, and they all looked exactly the same. The fine looked like a broad. The medium looked like a broad. The 1.1 looked like a broad.
I would have expected something for the stub, but the rest I can understand, yeah.
And I mean, it's just one of those things. It's like, okay, I'm recording a podcast tipsy, but did you guys hire someone to just sit there with the stamping machine, drink beer, and hit the stamper all the time? I mean, it's how it looked like, at least. But the other pen nibs where I get that feeling. Which ones are they? The Platinum 3776, it's the fine and the medium both feel medium. They both look exactly the same on medium.
Okay. Yeah, that's a gap. I only have the soft fine, and that was so dry. I had a lot to do, a lot of work. That's sort of my one sample in that range, so I don't know.
Yeah, the reason I shy away from the 3776 now is because the only way I was able to ever use that pen was with a music nib. And I just didn't like how the music nib felt because the other 2 nibs I tried, which were the fine and the medium, they just felt like they were the exact same nib.
Okay. I mean, I have a broad one. That is pretty nice. That is actually, I'd say that is a European broad, actually.
Okay, I haven't tried a platinum broad.
So supposedly there's quite a jump between the medium and the broad.
So, okay, so the platinum Japanese broad feels more like a European broad?
Yeah, yeah.
Huh.
And then you have the tiny converter and you run out of ink like in a day or two, basically.
Okay. Well, I went ahead and took time off to go to the Dallas Pen Show in September. So while I'm down there, I'll go ahead and try out a few 3776 broad nibs and see how I like them. Who knows? I may actually find a 3776 that I want to keep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm still eyeing the green one. Maybe I'll get one of those at some point.
Now, which green are you talking about?
Well, they're new. So they added green and a white edition to their version to their standard lineup recently.
Ah, okay. I'm pulling those up now really quick so I can actually take a look at the color. I hadn't looked at the new green that they had going on.
And as I like green a lot, maybe I'll get that one with them. Maybe I should try the medium nib at some point.
Oh, wow. Okay. You weren't kidding about that green. That is okay. I may actually try this one out while I'm at Penn Chalet here in 2 weeks. Oh yeah, speaking of that, I'm gonna be trying something new for the YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna do an interview with Ron on camera.
Wow.
I know.
Is he going to wear a hat and glasses, and there will be
See, that's what we'll do. Like, even though I appear on camera for the first 2 videos on my YouTube channel, I'll just appear on screen as my gloves that I wear. And then Ron will be wearing a like huge hat and sunglasses. Oh, man. Yeah, I'm going to have to remember to bring a whole bunch of gloves with me on vacation too, because I still have to do pen reviews while I'm down there. But yeah, while I'm touring Penn Chalet and doing that interview, I might as well go ahead and see if he's got one of these broads that I can try.
Yeah, that's true. Why not?
Well, there we go. Thank you. That just you may have just helped spend more money that I probably shouldn't be spending. Thanks, Urban.
Yeah. So Anna is going back to Taiwan in May. So
Oh, so more of your money's gone.
yeah, but I mean that's Asian pricing then, right?
Yeah.
What we get here or in the US.
Dude, seriously, they get so much better pricing than we do on quite a bit of stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to fault them for it. I mean, like, seriously. A couple of my friends that live in Australia, they will actually hop in a plane and fly to Taiwan, pick up all their computer gear for whatever computers they're building that year for whatever games, and then fly back to Australia to build them.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, yeah, it's cheaper for us to get the tickets, go there, get the parts, come back and build them than it is for us to buy them here in Australia. And it's like, really, guys? I wish I could just hop on a plane and do that.
Speaking of spending money, you also spent money on a Kickstarter, right?
Yes, I did. Partially out of guilt, but I would say 90% out of my recently discovered love of Tomoe River paper. Thank you, Phil Olin. And the fact that the ink actually looks rather intriguing, I decided to go ahead and back the second Hipponoto Kickstarter.
Which size?
I went ahead and went with the A5.
Mm-hmm.
And I went ahead and backed the A5 with the ink.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah, I also went to the site and clicked on the back A5. And then it says, oh, shipping to Germany, $25. And I thought, yeah, maybe not.
Yeah. I mean, the shipping, I could see the shipping being a barrier for a few international orders, but I don't know, man. We got to find a way to make paper a cheaper thing to ship.
I mean, paper is just heavy. So
it's heavy and it's compact. It's almost like shipping lead.
Yeah.
Wait, are you allowed to ship lead?
Do you want to try it?
I don't know. I think that would end with me being on some type of watch list. I already have a weird enough name. I think if I try shipping lead, the NSA is going to have a heyday with me. Sir, why were you shipping lead? Well, I do a stationary podcast, and we were joking about shipping lead, and one thing led to another, and I just thought it was a good idea. See, that excuse just won't work.
Yeah, that sounds... Yeah.
You can ship a notebook, but you can't ship lead.
Yeah.
Unless it's pencil lead, then you can ship that all day long.
Yeah, because it's not lead. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I felt guilty for not... I felt guilty for not backing the first Hipponoto campaign, primarily because I completely missed out and forgot to put it on my phone. So when it finally closed was when I went back to Kickstarter and looked at it, and I was like, oh man, I totally missed it. And so this time, the second it got posted on Slack, I was like, well, I'm not going to make that same mistake again. I'm going to back this one.
Mm-hmm.
And I've heard nothing but good things about the first set of Hipponotos. So I figured, why not?
Yeah, I'm not sure if I would. Yeah, I mean, the second thing is, I don't know if I can use a notebook with 500 pages. It would take so long to finish. I would get bored.
I'm sure I will find a use for it. I'm not going to use it for a water test, but I'm sure I'll find a use for it. I mean, I do have a book that I want to try handwriting, so I think we'll try that.
but I realized that I didn't even have any Tomoe River notebooks at this point. Well, the Hobonichi, but that's sort of
Right, that fell by the wayside.
So I ordered a Taroko Breeze, so that's their thinner notebook. I think it has 180 pages or so.
Oh, okay.
And then their shipping from Taiwan was like $5. So it's like 20 euros for a Tomoe River notebook. I think that's pretty good. And once I'm done with that Leuchtturm, that may become my new journal.
Man, after the whole snafu of finding out that the Leuchtturm paper was disagreeing with so many of my pens, I just can't go back to Leuchtturm anymore.
I mean, it depends on the use case. I mean, for a bullet journal where you want to write and then directly close it,
right,
it's not a bad paper because it dries so quickly. But if you actually want the ink to look good, then maybe not.
Or if you want to be able to use an ink that in and of itself already has way too fast of a dry time. And that's what I was running into. Some of the inks that I had inked up already had insanely fast dry times to them. So add that to the paper, and it was kind of combining to make it look like the nib was like skipping. And I would take the pen and immediately put it over on Tomoe River, and the pen would be writing perfectly. Well, my friend, you know what I think we should do?
We should wrap this up. And one more episode, and then I have a new job.
Oh, really? Okay, I thought you'd already done your transition.
No, they just sent me the big ass 32-inch monitor.
Dude, when you sent me the picture of that box, I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting. I only said, hey, I need a monitor, and that's what showed up.
Yeah, I agree with you. They went way overboard on that. But hey, man, go get yourself some coffee. I'm going to go ahead and finish off this last shot of vodka, and I think I'm going to bed. So I will talk to you a little bit later, and thank you guys for listening. We'll see you next time.
Bye.